Hello and welcome to the STB Racing League Season 17 USA Grand Prix, live from Austin, Texas. This evening, as you can probably hear, I'm not feeling very well. I've been very well for the last couple of days, so but I'm here. I'm going to do my best, and I'm joined in the comment box this evening by Rigsy X Rigsy. How you feeling, and what can we expect from United States tonight?
Firstly, Maldy, it's great to be back once again here in America. I feel what sounds like a bit better than yourself, and I definitely hope that you feel better as soon as we get on with the commentary. So hopefully once we get into the rhythm of things, it'll be a bit better. But thoroughly looking forward to the United States. It's a very challenging circuit. It's a matter of trying to strike the perfect balance between your grip through sectors 1 and 3 and maximising the engine speed through the big straight on the run up to turn 1 and into turn 12 as well. So it's about striking that balance. Got a good few drivers out already for a wee feeler, for a wee test of the track, just to see what their setups are like, what their tyres are like, and where their general reference points are. But I think we're in for a very entertaining 28 laps. You've got an echo, by the way.
Yeah, I think I'm sorted here. So obviously we're here in America, a track that most drivers like, and strategy seems to be very good. I've heard, Richard, that if you start outside the top 10 just in 11th, then you have a good chance of winning the race if you've got the pace, due to the different strategies you can run here. So if it's dry.
Definitely. I think 11th here is maybe just as valuable as pole position, because if you're 11th, it really keeps the door open for strategy. I think the strategy calls are very on the fence here, Maldy. I think most drivers will try and commit to an ultra-conservative one-stop, which will be softs to mediums. They'll pit run about lap 10 to go into mediums to the end. But we might see some come in about lap 7 or 8 for hards, because it is a monumental challenge to make the soft tyres last. So if we see some drivers pitting early and going to hards, they are still committing to a one-stop, but it just shows us that they have been able to manage the tyres as well as what other drivers have. And then also you've got the soft, medium, soft strategy. You've got the two-stop if you want to just burn some rubber and try and just go for consistent qualifying pace throughout the race as well. So that can really kind of come into play, because the tyre wear does just drop off the cliff after a point. So if we see a significant drop in pace, then the two-stop can really come into play right at the end, where this really matters, because it's a matter of just getting yourself in contention for some serious points.
Yes. Last week, Rixie, Bruno Will took the championship, and his title role was actually back tonight. BRR Davies in, so this will be a little bittersweet race, I think, for him. But yeah, Bruno Will, any words on his championship so far, Rixie? He's been absolutely incredible. Yeah, that championship.
Definitely, he's showing consistency, speed, determination, and resilience all the way through his season. He really has been like S-tier stuff. Like, we have had some challenges along the way for Davison, who is actually making his return. We thought he had left, but here he is once again back in the Williams once more. We had Bruno Will's teammate Ham Jam challenging for a good portion of the season, as well as his brother Jam Ham. They've both been giving the Brazilian a real run for his money, and we've also seen some challenges of late from ABR Connor and the McLaren. We've seen it for Stubbsy and Stefanko and the Red Bulls, who are always there or thereabouts picking up the pieces. Alfa Romeo as well, maybe not quite, but again they're always there pushing for some serious points, and that always like kind of triggers a domino effect, because if the midfield start pushing, then the drivers at the front need to start pushing, and when they start pushing, they can be pushed into mistakes. It really is all about keeping your cool, and Bruno Wills just kept that all the way through the season, and that's why he is this season's champion.
Definitely. We have a new driver here this evening in the Tier 1 Rig C. Buckley is back in league racing. He was due to replace me as commentator, but then I felt a little bit able to do the commentary, so he's back raring to go in Tier 1, and he should be in the Alfa Romeo tomorrow for Tier 2. And we got Janino back in as well. So yeah, Rick, so we've got a few good drivers in this evening. Janino is on for promotion to Tier 1, so it's a good opportunity to see where he fares. Where he fares compared to the other drivers. I can't get my words out today.
Definitely, it's I think like with STB, it really is just a matter of it really is going to push all your buttons. It's really going to make you test your limits, because STB is simply just a fiercely competitive league, and we'll emphasise that. We express that time in, time out when it comes to any of these races. Like, it's really hard to kind of really find your foothold in the league, because everybody is just so ridiculously quick on their day, and I think this league is a real challenge, and it really does bring a precedent for how leagues should really kind of be aiming for this level of equal competitiveness, and how we can really challenge for anything. There's no big, although we have we were sitting saying this no last week in Japan, but I think it was the week before in Russia, we were saying there is set structures in the league, such as who's your challengers for the win, who's your high point scorers, who's your point scorers, who's just outside and who's at the back. But even though we've got a structure like that in play, as we see Janino just take out the 100 metre board there, but we've got these structures in play, but that can easily be broken on a particular day, if you get me, because anybody can just show up and break that structure because they're ridiculously quick on their day. And it really is, and it changes from track to track. So some people that might not be good at Japan might be good here, or some folk that might not be good here might be good at Mexico next week. It really is about preference, how you set up your car, how you push yourself, and how determined you really are. And that's what determines the STB structure as well.
Yes, Rigsy, sorry. Sometimes you see Ham Jam and Jamham, they're very competitive. LA Italia at the moment is very competitive. Up in P4 at the moment, 129.7. And Bruno Will, of course, 4 tenths ahead. So that's pretty standard there for Bruno Will. But Davi's in. On his return, he's back 29.7. So he's back on the pace P3. And he's back in his Williams as well. So he'll be happy to see that.
See, that's the kind of thing with Davison as well, and I'm only saying Davison purely on the basis, it's a matter of, it's not to discredit anybody else, but it's a matter of what could have been, in that sense, because he was the one that we had seen to be, other than Ham Jam and Jamham, he was the other competitor for the title this season, and then for so long at the start of the season, he was there with some wins early on the board. He had a regular consistency about him. There was this determination, this bit of hunger and fire in him to actually do well. And then his pace, in the mid, the mid stage, the mid European rounds, he's everything just kind of hit the flare. It really just plummeted, and he's not really been the same. And I think that's when we've really seen Ham and Jam really kind of be coming in and picking up the pieces, if you get me, because they have really shown themselves to be solid contenders for next season, so if they choose to stay. I don't think Bruno Will, by any stretch of the imagination, is going to have an easy ride to a title once more. I think it really is going to be anybody's guess next season if we can keep a hold of Ham and Jam, Bruno Will, and then see where Davison is and see if he can maybe recuperate some of that form that he had at the start. But it really is just depending on whether the 4 drivers are wanting to stay. And then you look at the rest of the field, you look at the likes of like Connor, for example. He's been up there, he's get regular podiums, he can be a challenger if consistency keeps there. You've got the Alfa Romeos that can, if they can fit in early, then they can get a run for so long and see where they are at the mid stage. Really, Maldy, like, it is, I mean, we go back to the structure. The structure's there, but it's so easily broken and we can easily shuffle it about every race weekend. It's no a definitive order.
Yes, we've also got obviously the 3 drivers that come up from tier 2 as well, which at the moment we could have the 3 of them in this lobby right now. Kevin, Matty and Janino. Or it may be Dan Boss. One of those 2 drivers, Janino or Dan Boss, or maybe TMR Kata will be joining us in tier 1 next season. But we'll just have to see after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Definitely, they've got a couple of races to show their worth and see if the Division 1 material of an STB, definitely it's still early days in qualifying. I think, I mean, I'm not in any position to determine who comes up and doing an STB. I'm merely just the commentator. But if we see drivers coming up and being promoted, then I wouldn't be too downhearted if the season doesn't really start off the way you would have wanted. As we say, it's a really competitive league, and if you start off with the grunt, like you kind of hit the ground running in the first 2 or 3 races, then you're in for a season. Like, because with the competitiveness here, I think it'll be quite not impossible, but highly unlikely. And it's not to sit and like bash them or anything, but because of how fierce it is, it might not be like sunshines and lollipops and everything else in between. Like, it will just be a matter of fitting your fitting first and then seeing where you are about Canada France time, and that's where you start weighing things up.
Alia Talia has gone P2 weeks Eve with 129.4. He's just under a tenth slower than Bruno Will at the moment.
Exactly that. Italia, like, he's a kind of a driver that we don't normally see in the top 5, but there he is in P2. It kind of just talks about breaking this mould again. And a 29.4 is a fiercely competitive time as well. I'm gonna just wear out some of these terminologies and words that I'm going to be using throughout the course of this qualifying and race session. But as the track is really going to like evolve and it really hits its peak right at the end of the session, we could maybe potentially see a 28.
Maybe Bruno Will, or probably Bruno Will.
Are you seeing anybody on board a lap, Maldy? Because I'm trying to find somebody. I'm on board with Stefanko, who just invalidated.
Matt is on lap.
I'll jump on board with him.
He's 17 at the moment.
I think everybody...
He's invalidated.
No, one. That's a late call into the pits. So he'll
Connor's
be
on a
racing
lap,
point.
So mediums.
Connor trying to get a good qualifying result on the mediums as he goes through the snaking first sector. It's a consistent blend of Magus and Beckett's and the Suzuka S's, but up to turn 11, hard hairpin, hard braking. You'll downshift into second gear, very eager, very relaxed on the throttle, and straighten the car up early for the best possible purchase off of the hairpin. You want to keep the car quite fun on the right hand side here on the main racing line. You want to brake just before the 50, use the curb to help slow you down on that right side to prevent any lock-up as well through 12. Dipping apex of 13, want to keep it tight and get yourself quickly organised for the double apex 14 and 15, and then it's the triple right-hander 16, 17 and 18. It's very reminiscent of Turkey's infamous turn 8, the long sweeping left through turn 19, easy to corner cut with cutting that curb and running wide through turn 20. The sun's glare can really put off the drivers and the braking, but it doesn't seem to affect Connor too much. But Connor's medium time really is only going to put him 17th at best, and that is really going to be that's really going to be that, Maldy. If he can't get, he's going to have enough time for another lap. He is going to allow himself time to recharge the battery and get himself in some clear air. He is out just behind his teammate and Juninho as well, so maybe a bit of team play going on for the final runs. But Connor only 17th. Alarm bells might start to ring here in the final minutes.
Right, Rigsy, Bruno Will's on a lap now.
We'll see what Bruno Will's going to set. Let's see what he's like. He's up by a 10 through the first sector, up by 1/10. Very relaxed up the hill through turn 8 and 9. Doesn't he really use the throttle all that much? Keeps it straight, keeps it steady. Up to the hairpin into second gear. Even a wee quick flick of the gear paddle into first to help the turn in and help the rotation. And there he is, he's using Maya, the AstroTurf on the outside there, and a lot of track limits being exploited here to help his turn in through turn 12. Don't want to really clip that sausage curb. Quite a lot of sausage curbs on this track, 13 included, that can really unsettle the car, and it just puts a spring in the step of the driver through 15. And he's got the Haas. I think that might be Jamham just getting ready to start his final flying lap. He better be wary of Bruno Will being on his lap. He does get out the wide quite reasonably, quite sensibly there. Bruno Will running really wide but keeping it within the white line, keeping it any point within the white line keeps it valid. It's a 29.2, and that is going to keep him in pole position for the time being. But can Jamham beat it? Hamjam is retired in P5, so 5th at best for the Mercedes there for him. So Bruno Will and Hamjam heading a Mercedes 1.5 at the moment. Yellow flags up ahead in the first sector. It looks to be for for Connor, sorry, as he gets out the way of Jamham and the Haas. Jamham takes turn 8 and 9 in third gear in comparison to Bruno Will's 5th, so two very different approaches to the end of the S's. And Davison up by 0.3 of a second as well. Looks to be, could get him up into at least P3. Liberal out the way there. He's up in a solid P7 so far, so a Williams 6 and 7 as well in these final runs. Jamham looking to improve on his time, currently third fastest as Shark. Betters his time, can he go any better than P4 as the checkered flag falls? Stubbsy demotes Hamjam as he takes P5 for Red Bull, and all these times are starting to come in. All these times will be final. Jamham with a few low-cups here and there in the tighter twist there. Third sector tight turns through the sweeping right-hander, up shifts to 7th, keeps it quite tight, gets himself ready for turn 19. You want to be aggressive on the approach, but you want to be very relaxed on the exit, and he keeps it just in the line, and he invalidates right at the end, but he'll keep going to see where it puts him. It does the improve, it's by 100th of a second deficit, which means he would have stayed P4 regardless, but he looked tentative on the exit at 19, and it really did maybe shake him a wee bit on the approach to 20, and just to get a bit too greedy on the apex of 20 is not only probably destabilised the car, but has also invalidated the lap. In the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't have went for much since it was only a 100th shy of his time, but that is something that he'll be looking to curb out in the race. And America is quite infamous for its track extending warnings, so penalties really will be a big definitive factor when it comes to the final race result.
Definitely. Um, Davizin put himself up in the P2 there, Rigsy, so he's back. He's back on form. But Davizin is your pole sitter here in America. So, Rigsy, your grid for the US Grand Prix is as follows. Bruno Will is on pole, second is Davizin, third is Alitalia, fourth is Jan, fifth Shark, sixth Stubbsy, seventh is Giroux, eighth Hamjam, ninth Stefanko, 10th is Matty, 11th is Libero, 12th will be Kevin, 13th will be Danny, 14th Janino, 15th VC, 16th Gravity, 17th Buckley, 18th LOS Mercury, 19th will be ABR Connor, and 20th will be TMR Alpha. So that is your grid for the United States Grand Prix, Rigsy. Who was surprised doing that qualifying? I've got to say, Shark's done a good job. Same with LA Italia as well.
I'm definitely quite impressed by Italia and P3, 2:10 shy of the pole time. So it's a very strong qualifying. And for Shark as well. Alpha Tauri really bringing the pace here to America. Looking at other drivers as well, we've got Alfa Romeo's maybe a bit out of place down in 13th. I don't know where Mercury was. I forgot to flick down the order there to see where he was in the order. But both the Alfa Romeos are a bit out of shape, so both of them probably going to look for the alternate strategy here. They'll probably go conservative one stop, I feel. They'll probably try go for mediums hards just to ensure that they can definitely make the end. But the tyre delta plus the drop off as well, two variables that they'll really need to watch and factor in. So Mercury did actually qualify in 18th. Connor as well, he's really out of place in P19 when I've seen him in at least the top 5 in the last few sessions, and qualifying anyway. I'd maybe even go as far to say Hamjam being about out of place in P8. He is saying that he couldn't really get a proper lap hooked up, so he's maybe just trying to test the limits and see how much he can really push the car. But P8 for him is a bit out of place, I would say, for him. So got a few drivers a bit out of shape, Maldi, getting into this race, so it'll be really interesting to see how they tackle the race. The sky has went from a sky blue to a dark grey, so is there any real threat of weather? Like any real threat of rain? We don't have that information on hand.
I mean, it looks like it with the clouds. Anyway, I'm just going to go get myself a drink, ready for the race, and you can take us through the formation lap here, and I'll be back in around 30 seconds time.
No worries. So, I think if you've been a fan of STB since the start of the season in Australia, you'll see that Davies and Bruno Will at the front is a very recognised front pairing. Brazilian 1-2. Italia a bit out of place in P3, but I don't think he'll really be caring too much. You've got Jamham in P4, so he'll be looking to try and get a good start. And the Haas VCRL Shark, Alpha Tauri 3-5 there. Stubbsy very solid but very quiet qualifying there. He improved right at the end of the session to get himself up into P6. Ichijiro as well, right at the end of the session, pushed Hamjam further down into P8, who we were saying is one of the first drivers to be out of place in P8, so he'll have a bit of work today. It might just be a matter of biding time and patience and seeing what opportunities open up, but if nothing really happens, he might need to try and throw the cat in amongst the pigeons with strategy. Stefanko and P9 solid qualifying for him, and Matty as well, rounding out the top 10. Liberal be the first of the drivers to go on a different strategy with the mediums. I've got a lot of the runners outside the top 10 on mediums. Got Alpha Kevin in 12th though, still on soft, so he'll have fresh softs at his disposal most likely, as will Janino in 14th. DJ Danny, the first of the two Alfa Romeos, in 13th. VZ in 15th. Gravity and Buckley, the two Renaults, 16th and 17th. They will be looking to try and cut their way through the field, as will VZ and the Haas. Mercury and Connor not really having the best qualifying session. If you see a Renault in the grass there at the exit at turn 19, so wonder what that is. So Connor and Afali on the softs right at the back, looking to try and get some position gains early for the racing point, as he'll be taking his place at the back of the grid. Just want to say a warm welcome to each and every one of the 14 viewers here that we've got already. As it says at the bottom of my screen, I'm going to try and get us a good camera angle for the start. Maldi isn't back, so I will take you through the race start. It is Bruno Wilfie Davison heading the front row. Let me get a good camera angle, but the lights are going to come on any second now. The fans are sitting in the grandstands waiting for these lights to come on. The race director's turned the button on. He has got the lights coming on. It's 4 lights, it's 5. Bruno Will leads for Davison off the start, but it looks to be Davison getting a much better start on the inside, on the dirtier side of the track, and he's already up alongside the inside. The Ferrari up the inside there, getting a few places already. That looks to be Alpha Kevin making a few places. We see a Mercedes, that must be Hamjam, getting caught up in some traffic at the back of the field there. He'll have lost a few places there with that half spin as they all go single file through the S's. Renault darting off wide through the AstroTurf there, and they're coming on a bit dangerously there, bit of risk there. Jamham up into P3, Stubbsy up 2 places, Sharks stays where he is. Alpha Ali Italia is already down to P19, so he must have got caught up in some conflict there in the midfield somewhere. And Matty already up into P6, darting out of the slipstream, trying to lock on the back of Alpha Tauri, and he's already pushed
out of the
Shark
race,
into a mistake.
Shark's gone. I think that was Shark anyway.
It was Shark. Maldi's having to filter in P9. Both Alpha Tauris up, they were 3 and 5 in qualifying. They're 9 and 19th on the run down to turn 12. And DJ Danny's up into P10.
Some contact, Libero span. Libero's out of the race, contact with Gravity. And virtual safety cars being deployed. Hamjam is down in P18 with broken front wing.
It's really...
What did I miss, sorry? Because it looks like a lot's happened. Davison's in the lead.
Looking at the start, Maldi, we had Davison got a much better start. Bruno Will on the inside, on the dirtier side of the track, and they were both fighting for position off the start. Jamham and Stubbsy gained places. Matty's gained a few places off the start as well as we go green, and Jamham's already right on the rear wing of the 2 Brazilians in front, and Bruno Will resumes the lead here in America. Quite a lot of turn 1 conflict as well. Quite a lot of turn 1 conflict as well. We had Kevin gone for an ambitious lunge up the inside, and it looked to have paid off for so long. I didn't really get to see what happened in the ricochet way or that. Hamjam was thrown into a half spin, so I'm assuming that's where he's picked up his damage. And he's already into the pits, having to go probably onto the hards just to see if they can actually make it. I will admit, professionally, I don't think I have much confidence in them making, so he might hope for a safety car. And Bruno Will's already trying to break the slipstream for Davison. Jamham making this a battle between the 3 for the race lead on lap 2 of 28.
Yeah, Matty as well getting involved. Same with Alpha Kevin, who is NT Kevin. She's down.
Oh, and that's a full safety car.
Libero out.
And that's Libero.
Where did Libero crash?
Turn 9, on the exit of turn 9. It's the uphill right left at the end of the first sector, start of the second. He's probably just bobbled on the curb and it's through the car into the wall. So this is interesting. Are we going to see
this has really helped Stubbsy, who's on a fresh set of mediums.
And
on the virtual safety car.
And we've got some pit action as well. We've got Matty in, we've got Shark in. We're going to put it to the tyres to see what tyres they throw them on. They throw on the cars because maybe they're already on the softs. Are they going to go hards? Matty's definitely gone hards. VCRL Shark's gone mediums, which is interesting. Italia's in. He's going to go hards, it looks like, in the garage. Buckley's in. He's going to go for the mediums to mediums. That's interesting. So that's quite an interesting strategy there for Buckley. I'm hoping I'm right in saying that's what I saw, but we'll try and get that confirmed for you. Mercury is made a pit stop onto hards Connor's on hards, mediums, sorry. Ham Jam at the back on mediums. So they are definitely, the medium runners are definitely going to go with this impression that they're going to have to stop again, because there is not a chance in a month of Sundays that they'll make it to the end on the mediums. So it really is going to come down to a two-stop race, Maldy. So it seems. I think
VC bad under safety car.
And that is bad to worse there for Haas.
He's done a Roman Grosjean.
He takes his place up at the back of the field.
Russell.
I think everybody, Maldy, might throw themselves on a two-stop race now. Except for the top 6, I think they might be safe in trying to stretch the one-stop. The safety car's definitely going to help them manage the tyre and keep the wear to a minimum.
If Matty can keep out of trouble, he's got a good chance. He's on a set of hards. So if he can try keep that gap, he could well potentially still get some good points here. Even though he's on the slower tyre.
Definitely, it's really going to be a matter of tyre management and keeping your nose clean, as Bruno Will does lead us behind safety car conditions on lap 3 of 28. And I think I'm not going to lie, Maldy, I think the medium runners, so basically looking at the leaderboards on the left hand side, you're looking at the tyres from Stubbsy down to VZ in 19, so 12th to 19th. All the drivers on the mediums there are going to try and force the hand of the front runners to make a two-stop. That is my honest opinion. I think that's the strategy they're going to try and play. I think hard tyres to the end. It is a stretch. It's a massive stretch, but I feel they might fall victim to the cliff. I think they just might fall off the cliff on about lap 26, 27 when it really matters. Yeah. So I think Matty and Italia are really hoping this safety car just goes for another lap or two to try and properly make it work. But I think the medium runners in the bottom half of the field are going to try and force the hand of the soft runners who haven't pitted to go in a two-stop.
I don't really know why you wouldn't pit under these safety car conditions. Yes, it's very early in the race, but the soft, as you said earlier, softs don't actually last that long around here, around 6, 7, 8 laps. So they don't actually last very long. So it's quite difficult for the soft runners now to build out that gap. They want to do the one stop. They've got loads of medium runners around them. I can have the better grip, obviously, better pace on those mediums, because the softs have been quite worn. So it'd be interesting to see, Wigsley, what happens in the next few laps and what happens on this restart safety cars in this lap.
Safety car is in, so the soft runners will probably have wanted it for another lap or two at least, but I don't think they'll really be caring too much in the grand scheme of things. They'll just have to take things as and when they come. Cross every bridge when you get to them is what I like to say, but we're going to have Bruno Will leading us back underway under these safety car conditions. He's really backing up the pack early, and there's a penalty there for contact under the safety car with VCRL, Shark and Stubbsy, and that is between 12th and 13th, so they've both probably picked up penalties for that. But Bruno Will really just letting the safety car. He leads us away.
It's time for the restart. Here we go.
And Bruno Will is leading us away for Davison up the hill to turn 1 on lap 5 back under green. And it's Bruno Will for Davison, Jamham, your top 3, Kevin and Ichijiro, the 2 Ferraris in close pursuit there. And one of the Ferraris at Ichijiro getting a bit out of shape there on the exit of turn 1. And there's a yellow flag at turn 1 as well for mere contact. And that's Juninho falling down the order there at the back. I think he must have spun. I don't know if it was on his own or if it was through contact. He was next to... I'm trying to think. He was just in front of Stubbsy. He was just in front of Stubbsy because they were 12th and 13th. And now they're 11th and 12th. And Danny is under pressure for Afali as Afali goes up the inside. Bit late, a bit audacious. Looks a bit half-hearted. DJ Danny gives him the space. And we're right on board with Afali now. tucked underneath the rear wing of the Alpha. He's having to go to the left. He's going to go defensive, but that's allowing Afali to get the slipstream of Stefanko. Later on the brakes, Danny's looking up. Danny's getting a bit forceful, but he makes it move.
See, Danny actually just needs to defend this because he's in a net P1 right now. When everyone pits, I mean, he'll be in P1 at the moment. So this is a big moment for Danny right now.
And definitely he'll really be looking to try and keep his nose clean for as much as he can. Like, and I think the more laps he can get under his belt, being right on the tail of this train for Stefanko.
Matt is in the pit then.
For Bruno Will, all the way down to Stefanko.
Matt, he got damaged.
Then I have no idea. I can't remember seeing him picking up any damage anywhere. It does say Davison is doing a lap, however, which I think
Matt's got damage.
Which is untrue.
Look at the gap
board
between Bruno and Davison now. That's quite big for one lap.
One lap already, and it's only lap 6 of 28. It's quite the pace that Bruno Will's got if that's the gaps he's putting out. But it's Bruno Will for Davison's your front two, Jamham keeping in within DRS, but he's under pressure. He'll be feeling the heat for Alpha Kevin, who's went up for P. He started P12, so he's up into P4, so a solid start for him in these early laps. He's right on the rear wing of the Haas in front, so he is leading a Ferrari 4-5 at the moment. And I think his teammate Ichijiro is really just kind of starting to make a few small errors here and there, losing a 10 for 2 in some of these corners, and it's small like gaps he can't really afford to be giving away, because DRS will soon be activated once Bruno Will crosses the line to start the 7th lap, and if you're not in DRS, I think you're kind of stranded after that.
Yeah, Bruno Will fast up the race. Lucas puts the penalty.
And looking at Afali again, he's right on the rear wing of DJ Danny, and he is on the softer tyres, albeit they are a bit past the peak, so to speak. They are a bit old, so I feel like the pit window for the soft runners might have been extended slightly. So instead of looking at them coming out at lap 9 or 10, it might be 10, it might be 11. They might try and stretch it as much as they possibly can, but I really don't know how much longer they're going to go, Maldy. It really is MD's guess.
Right, Ruggsy, Stefanko, is quite close to its due run. DRS.
And he's going to have the slipstream, he's going to have the DRS, and he's going to have the place as well to add on to it.
And Jamham's got the place on Davison. Davison's going to try to come back at him.
Oh, Jamham, big look up there through 13. He's going to have Davison right on the rear wing. Davison also looking up into 15 and 16. And it's through 17 and 18 here, the long sweeping right. Bruno Will already building that.
I do like America. There are a good few overtaking opportunities. I do like this track.
It's got a blend of promise about it that I think I'm not the biggest fan. I don't mind watching it, but I don't like racing it. It's a bit of a workout for me on the controller when I race here. When I race anyway, it's a bit of a workout. But we've got DJ Danny just keeping place with Afali, who's also picked up a penalty as well, and Ichijiro, who's in front of DJ Danny, has also just picked up a penalty as well, so DJ Danny will probably be laughing at that if he can keep his penalties and his track extended warnings to an absolute minimum. Looking at the timing screens at the moment, Hamjam's in P12 as well, so he's right on the back of Buckley, who's right on the back of Gravity, who's right on the back of Stubbsy, and then there's a 2-second gap. So this might just be a matter of Hamjam will be in that position again, but he is just having to try and bide his time a wee bit here.
Got a good little train going on here, haven't we, Risa?
Definitely, it's...
Connor's up the inside of Italia. Dum.
and locks up late on the brakes, and it's 13 for the
He's
McLaren.
got the place on Mercury. Mercury, of course, is on a set of hards, but he's just waiting for everyone to pit at the moment.
Mercury will really just be cruising, so to speak. Obviously, he'll not be going like at a Sunday pace, but he'll be just managing the tyres to make sure that he can actually make it to the end. Because penalties will be a big factor as well. So that's kind of why we're really emphasising the idea. Like maybe Mercury's want to try and manage the tyres as much as they can. Same with Italia, who's the only other driver on the hard, so they'll be wanting to try and go to the end and maybe hope that penalties fall into their favour. But Mercury's already picked up at least 3 seconds for what I can see on the screen. As we're jumping on board with Buckley through the S's, Gravity right in front, so this is the battle between Gravity, Buckley and Hamjam, who is in close pursuit as well. So
Connor's quite close
Gravity
as well.
and Connor really starting to get himself involved in this battle as well. So I think Gravity might maybe be a bit of a sitting duck to his own teammate here if Buckley can get a good enough exit and use a good bit of his battery down the straight. Buckley is deploying a lot here. He is really closing the gap. He's closing, he's gaining, he's darting, he's up the inside, he's leaving it late on the brakes. Gravity's pushed it out a bit wide, and Buckley makes it past his teammate. Gravity is trying to fight it back, and a bit of wibble there for Gravity as Hamjam's going to try and hold it on the outside. He'll have the inside for the double left, and Gravity has been mugged for 2 places there. Gravity has lost 2 places. He was 9th going into turn 12. He's P11 going through turn 15.
What a move. Go on, Gravity. Not Gravity, sorry. Buckley. Buckley's looking very quick at the moment.
And Davidson's in as well.
Oh God, what's going on here?
Davidson's car just lagged out onto the track there. For me, it was ghosted though, so
wow,
look at
this. Wow. Riggsy, you seeing this? Davidson? Whoa. He was going backwards down the pit lane then. That was pretty special to be fair. Oh. Is he on track now? Oh God, what's going on? This lobby's glitched.
He's made his pit stop. He is in 15th. He is running in clean air. He is on the mediums, so Bruno Will and Jamham will not really know what he's on. So this could be interesting, because will Bruno Will and Jamham go hards to try and make it to the end? Because the hards will make it. The hards will make it to the end for here. Mediums might just be a stretch. Hamjam's going to go for the move on Buckley though, Maldy. Is Buckley
very,
made this move
very
on Gravity?
aggressive on the defending. He's a bit like Danny, who does defend a lot.
Oh, and he's squeezing Hamjam, running the outside of 13. Hamjam's keeping it there though.
What a move from Hamjam now. Left him for chips.
Hamjam watched Buckley make the move into turn 12 on Gravity just the last lap, and he says, if Buckley can do it, I can do it. And then Buckley put up a bit more of a fight, so Hamjam knew it wasn't all done and dusty there, and then running the outside of 13 up the inside of 14 and 15, and that's where he made the move stick. Jamham is in, he's in for mediums. Bruno Will is extending. The undercut could be an immensely powerful tool at the disposal of Davison here, who has made the jump on Jamham, but it doesn't seem to be by much, Maldy. They are still on the same piece of track. And we've got Stubbsy right on the rear wing of Ichijiro now, who's on old softs. So really starting to kick off here. Ichijiro will probably be a bit tentative on traction. Stubbsy on the other hand will be quite keen on the mediums, so he has got the DRS. He's got the rear wing flap open, as you can see on the camera shot there, and he's going to just pull up alongside. Easy as you like, takes the place. Easy as you like there for the Red Bull driver. Ichijiro pretty much defenceless on the straights, and that just shows you how much of a powerful ally DRS can be. Excuse me.
Right there. We go.
Throat's a bit rough.
Oh yeah.
Still is a bit rough, to be fair. But definitely a powerful ally to have.
So he's going to take the lead. Danny's going to go P2. He's getting caught
And
at
we're
greater
gonna-
knots by Stubbsy. And Bruno Will's in.
And this will be interesting to see because Davidson's gone by the pit lane. We've got Bruno Will just coming out in front there. That's Bruno Will right there. Davidson's right on the tail. And Bruno Will somehow just managing to make the overcut work. Honestly, Maldy, you can sit and say the undercut's the best thing since sliced bread, and Bruno will just say, no, it's not, and go for the overcut and still somehow manage to make it work.
This
is
Bruno Will we're talking about.
Like,
yeah, if you've got the pace, then yeah. But my game keeps freezing, Luke.
you were kind of laggy for me there as well.
Yeah,
so
my
I don't know
game
if it
keeps
was maybe
freezing.
just
Whenever I spectate Davidson.
Davidson's a bad omen here then, but Bruno Will is going to make a move on Mercury alongside already into the braking zone, gives Mercury a wee pinch on the outside, and Davison just follows him through. So Davison really not taking any chances, no letting
Davison
traffic
wants this,
split
you can
him.
tell.
Davison no letting traffic split himself and Bruno Will, and I think that will be the
Kevin's in as well
big
now.
factor
So
here.
Danny's going to lead the race, followed by Stubbsy. Bucky's in a good position here. He's very quick, Briggsy. Bucky's very quick.
And VZ's in after 9 laps on the mediums, which is interesting. You've got Davison right behind Bruno Will, and you can see in the camera shot there, VZ is in to retire. That is why. And the ideal why though, he was running quite solid there in P9. So absolutely in the ideal why he's done that. But it's Mercedes for Williams for Alpha for Haas. This is the battle for the net P1. Mercury is the one that's a bit out of sync, but he is looking to try and go hard to the end. So this is technically his fight to an extent, but I don't think he'll really be putting too much resistance on the front three at this point.
So the Davison was very close and didn't really take the opportunity there on the last lap. He needs to now get the DRS, overtake mode. But I don't think he's going to get it now. I think Bruno Will is far too quick for Davison, and he's got, you know, 2 laps fresh tyres than Davison. So
definitely, it's a matter of actually. See, strategy really is key to a lot of these races as well. So Bruno Will really just had the overcut under lock and key. I don't know, because Davison definitely came out in clear air. As Hamjam gets a big wiggle on through the exit at 19 there. I don't know
what?
if it was maybe...
Sorry, Buckley is looking rapid right now. Can I just say? And we know that Danny is going to defend this for his life. We do know this. This is going to be an insane battle for these positions here. I think down to P5, even P6 maybe. This is going to be a good race. LA Italia as well is looking strong. He's in P7 on set hards. Don't what's the word? Yeah, don't underestimate him in terms of later on in the Grand Prix. Same with Mercury as well.
Definitely, we'll really need to see how the other half of the race. We are just hitting half distance here in America, so that is DJ Danny leading for Stubbsy, Hamjam and Sink Buckley. Connor round out your top 5, and Hamjam's and
Danny's going to go defensive. Danny's going to try and push him off the circuit. Go on, you know you want to. Well done, yeah, you know you want to, Danny. Push him off the circuit. Go on. Yeah, he's going to dive bomb.
Danny's still.
Yeah,
he's
see,
still
we all know what Danny does now. We all know what he does. Round the outside, here we go.
Oh, and Danny's been pushed off.
Pushed him straight off the track then, Danny. Yeah, he was like, yeah, do you know what, Danny? I know who you are. You're the Brickwood STB. You know, I'm getting past you right now.
And Buckley was going for
Buckley had
a
a
wee
bit of a luck
cheeky
there.
luck in the inside of 20 as well. Buckley letting Danny know that he's there. And this is the thing about Ham Jam as well. He's not really had to make any moves. Like obviously, like that sounds very like hypocritical because he has had to make moves, but he's always waited for the gaps to open. He's not had to forcefully make this himself, whereas he's just let Stubbsy and Danny fight it out, and he's just picked up the pieces. He's just been waiting for these wee gaps to open, and he's snatched at them without thinking twice about it. So Hamjam really trying to get himself in good stead for this race. I think, honestly, I don't like. I still think they need to pit. I still think the top six need to pit at some point. But we'll see how it goes anyway, because I could be wrong. But Hamjam's going to go and make the move on Stubbsy. Stubbsy pretty much powerless to the slipstream and the DRS. Buckley going to try and go around the outside of Danny though. And he's going to try and go for the switch back here as we ride on board with DJ Danny. Buckley trying to hold it round the outside. Through 13 and 14. Up the inside of 15 and 16. Danny is squeezing it. You can see Buckley's nose. You can see the nose. Danny up the inside through the long right-hander. And Buckley just going to have to settle for being behind once again. Is Buckley going to go for the wee cheeky dart up the inside again at turn 20? He is not. And DJ Danny already outside the DRS window. He stubs in front, so Buckley knows this is crucial. Buckley is going to try and go for it again, and he is going to go round the outside on the brake, and Buckley cuts across but runs wide. DJ Danny going to go side by side with him through turn 2, but Buckley just having the edge. Buckley has the edge on that slightly fresher rubber. And it really is just going to be a matter of what's really going to open up for you, what's going to happen. Like, yellow flags in sector 1, it keeps saying that for me all the time, so you never know. I always take everything with that with a pinch of salt. Bruno Will up the inside of Connor though. I think that one was Connor Cote a bit napping there, so Bruno Will makes the place, puts the McLaren between himself and Davison, and I think that is going to be key for Davison to get by Connor as quick as he possibly can, because Bruno Will definitely has the pace to stretch his legs through traffic if Davison can't make any moves.
Bruno Will's just showing off now. He's showing
Davison does get up the inside. Davison's up the inside of Connor. So he's up the inside of Connor there. And Bruno Will right on the back of DJ Danny. Buckley dives into the pits, so he is probably going to go on another set of mediums to the end, I would assume. But we've got Bruno Will going for DJ Danny here. Danny is defending it, pushing Bruno Will round to the outside. Is he going to try and squeeze him on the outside? Bruno Will has the traction, has the grip, has the pace, and he also has the place. Bruno Will up in the third.
Injected. My favourite, sorry, the champions in P3, sorry. Sorry, Riggs, I must have just, you know, put a little word in there, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. But we don't have too much to really fight for here, because as Maldy has just pointed out, we did forget to say, but Bruno Will is already champion with 4 races left.
Well, it's a good battle for P5 in the championship. You know, you got Danny, you got Jamham in there. Connor's even in there, I think, as well, I heard. So, yeah. You know, there's a good little battle going on at the moment. And it's good to see what Kevin, Matty and Janino, the predicted promoted drivers, can do. Obviously, finished champion in Tier 2, so he's already got automatic promotion to Tier 1 next season as a full time.
Definitely.
And then you've got Matty Rigsy as Danny's in the pits. You got Matty
And
as well, and then you've either got Janino, Alpha Janino, or FNT Damos. They're the two drivers that I reckon are going to be fighting for that third place in the championship.
Definitely, they'll be the ones to watch as the final races unfold and progress. Janino is retired in the third sector. I don't know if that's an accident or
Oh, safety.
what.
There's going to be safety car, AO.
Could there be a safety car to throw something into the mix here? Let's see what everybody's got on. Hamjam's on to sauce.
I feel ill.
Aye,
I
Bruno.
feel confused.
He just needs. Stubbs is on a different strategy as well. They pitted early. Same with Hamjam, Buckley. They all had an early stop as Janino leaves the session, so he's packed up and called it a day.
He did have an unlucky race there. He had a bit. I don't know what happened to him to lose his front wing, but yeah, it's not been the day for him.
Definitely no, but I think what will be interesting now to see is where Hamjam and Buckley are going to feed into this pack, because Hamjam's got a 2.5 second gap to Mercury and it's rapidly closing. So I want to kind of really see where he and him and Buckley are going to finish on the fresh softs. So they'll be rapid in these final stages as we see Stubbsy being the last of the runners there to actually come in and pat. Mercury on the hards, he'll still be trying to go to the end on the tyres as well, so he'll be one to watch as well.
Personally, I think Buckley's quicker than Hamjam.
Buckley is definitely doing a lot to keep in touch with Mercedes, especially because some of them have seen Buckley. We've seen Buckley very sporadically throughout the course of the season, and now he's back in filling in for the Renault team here in America, so he has definitely been on the pace. I would say they're very similar on pace as well. Like Buckley's definitely been a bit more forceful with moves, and that's good in the same sense. Hamjam's probably demonstrated a bit more of the racecraft, so both of them have their own talents as well. So both of them are really going to just get Mercury. So Mercury has to go to the left, and he is going to go defensive. He is going to try and hod this, but I don't think it's really going to be worth much in the grand scheme of things. He does leave it late on the brakes, and he is squeezing Hamjam on the inside, but Hamjam says, you can squeeze me, but I'll make a way through, and Buckley is right behind as well, so, and he's no hinking twice about getting up the inside into 16, so Buckley immediately through there, Hamjam immediately through there with it.
Good move, that.
He did have a bit of a fight, but Ham and Buckley looking to cut through the pack, but it's Ichijiro next, and then it's a
Buckley,
gap of
Rixie,
5 seconds.
He's looking rapid. I don't know if it's just me, but he's rapid. He's even quicker than Hamjam. Hamjam's usually up there in podium.
Definitely, Hamjam's probably been dealt a short straw. He's been dealt the bad hand in terms of damage on the start, but Ham and Buckley are showing very similar pace in the stage, and I think they're just going to they're subconsciously using each other as a reference to how they actually get through the pack, if you get me. Like, Ham's going to make the moves on the drivers in front. That's going to open the gaps for Buckley, and then Buckley seizes the opportunity and he takes it. It was the same when Buckley was leading Hamjam early in the race, when Buckley was making the moves and Hamjam was picking up the pieces. It's Hamjam's turn to do the carving of the cake, so to speak. So and there you go, Hamjam right on up the inside of Ichijiro again. Buckley is a bit further back, so he might need to make this one himself, but like, Ichijiro's not going to have the same traction as the softs, so Buckley might have it here again if he is fancying his chances. Maybe going to take a chance. He might definitely at least have it through turn 19 or 20. I think that'll be the absolute latest he can leave it if he's wanting to keep in touch and distance with Hamjam. Yellow flags in sector 1 again. I think that just purely is a glitch. But he's going to have Ichijiro. He's going to have DRS though, so if he gets a good exit here.
Yellow flag in sector 1 every lap.
I think that was for VZ's retired car. But this is crucially the problem now for Buckley, because no getting by Ichijiro through the third sector means that Buckley is teetering outside Ham's DRS detection range, so he really has to rely on his aim pace now just to make sure that he can get himself
He is
back.
pretty quick though, I must say, he is pretty quick.
Definitely, he has been one of the standouts in terms of like actual raw pace and what we've actually seen this race. He has definitely been one that we've kept tabs on, and he has done really well, so definitely a return that it's a very strong return that he's made, in my opinion anyway. It's looked fairly strong, but he's really going to have to rely on everything he's got in his car and his skill set to try and close Ham Jam down now, because the DRS does help you a lot. So no having that's going to be a big issue for Buckley if he does want to try and catch Stefanko and maybe even Alpha Kevin for 5th.
Yeah, so Buckley's losing time now, to be fair. Big C. 1.5 seconds the gap now.
And that's going to be the thing as well, so we've got Ham Jam, who is closing the gap down on Stefanko for P6. So then once you get Ham Jam up into 6th with Stefanko, it's just Kevin and Italia's actually just in front of Kevin as well, so this is the battle for P4. So we've not seen this battle for a wee while. This is a race that's just kind of been happening underneath our noses, as well as Jamham right on the back of Davison as well. We'll see if Jamham can make the move. I don't know if he is close enough, but he is closing with his slipstream, and the closing speed is massive. It's monumental. The move is... Aye, the session's glitched and said that Davison's a lap down, even though that isn't the case. He is running P2, and I can't see the gap to Jamham and Davison because I think it's froze on 3.5 seconds, so we're going to really have to take how close together they are on track with what we see on the map. If it was 3.5 seconds behind him and up the inside, it must have been some lunge. Definitely. It's been monumental stuff at the front as well. We've not really spoke too much about it, mainly because I didn't even notice Jamham was right in the DRS and the slipstream of Davison, because the gap is the refreshing every time we go through these delta lines, so we don't get that information updated for us. But Kevin is updating his position to P4 as he does get his way past Italia, and Kevin's had a solid race. And Buckley right on the DRS range of Ham Jam, who's right on the DRS range of Stefanko, who's closing in on Italia. So this is not over by any means, any stretch of the imagination. This race has another 5.5 laps remaining, and it's MD's guess for who can finish where. And Ham Jam is right behind Stefanko, and it might be the mediums maybe getting past the point. So it's a lot of strain on the tyres. Like once the tyres hit a point where once the tyres hit a point in terms of its wear, like you'll notice it, like the grip's no there, the car doesn't slow down as efficiently, the traction's poor, like, and I think that's what Italia's feeling. 20 hard tyres is bad enough, but never mind 20 lap old hard tyres. because they're just going to be like 50 pence pieces, really. So Italia's really going to be nursing these tyres now at this point. So it really is just. I think he's going to be a sitting duck to Stefanko, who's in theory he's already a sitting duck to Hamjam and Buckley, who's breathing down his neck. And Stefanko is catching Italia, but Stefanko's bringing heat in the form of the two soft runners. So it really is anything to play for as Hamjam tries to sell Stefanko the dummy up the inside. He sells Stefanko. Hamjam sold Stefanko the dummy, sent him to the shops there with a move like that, and Buckley is right up behind the Red Bull as well, and Buckley will be looking to make the place. It's the matter of if Hamjam can do it, then so can I. And I think Buckley will make it into turn one, even though Stefanko will have DRS. You can just see him there so much slower through the turn 20, through the apex. And Buckley burning everything he's got, and Stefanko edging the car that wee bit closer to the inside, squeezing him that bit on the inside as well, but Buckley just beats him on outright traction. I think Buckley doesn't really shy away from the fact that he knows he needs to burn his ERS to actually make the moves, and I think that's kind of it. Like Hamjam has also burnt a lot of his ERS to trying to make the moves, but like Buckley is using it, like using every last percentage to actually try and close the gap, whereas Hamjam will probably turn it down. Whereas I noticed Hamjam turns it off after upshifting into 8th, and he just lets the top end speed carry him forward, but he's going to just burn everything there, and then as soon as he gets by him, doesn't even need to use the overtake, so he just slots into P5, and that's going to be Kevin just in front for P4. And I think that would honestly be, if this is going to be the case for Hamjam, if he could get P4 off Kevin in these final laps, then it's definitely a recovery drive and a half, because he was at the back of the field after lap 1 and on a different strategy. He was thrown into a half spin at turn 1, and I'm assuming that's where he picked up his damage, and he was at the back of the field. So Kevin went for an ambitious lunge. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was I'm not saying it was Kevin's fault. I can't really go pin and blame on MD, but Kevin did go for a very ambitious late braking move. He made it work, and then after that I just saw Hamjam getting thrown into a half spin, and I couldn't really tell who it was that done it. So I would need to look back and see myself who it was. So I can't really comment on that particular incident at this moment. So, but what I can comment on is Buckley's chance to try and get Italia on the run into turn 12. Is it? He might be waiting to the next lap. He might know that the tyres are old. Definitely, I think Buckley's really just going to settle in and just see where... I don't really know what the penalty situations are like, but Buckley has a penalty weighing on his shoulders as well, so he'll need to account for that as well. So if he could get by Italia, then he'll need to try and blow a gap. But as I say that, he does run wide on the exit at 19 and picks up a penalty there as well for his troubles. Definitely take them as and when you get them. But as talking about Ham Jam, let's see what his brother's doing. No quite close enough to Davison here. DRS is enabled though, so he has got that rear wing flap open, but he'll have one rare opportunity doing that straight to try and secure the P2. Davison does have the penalty in hand though, I didn't notice that myself, so Jamham will probably just not even worry about the move now, and he'll be wanting the P2 just before leading Davison home. But Buckley on off camera gets the move done on Italia for P6, and Stefanko will be looking at fancying his chances for P7 as well. Yellow flags are out in sector 3. What for does they seem to be? I think that's just been a glitch or race. But Bruno Will is starting the final lap here in the circuit of the Americas here in Austin. Bruno Will, the season 17 newly crowned STB champion, will take us on the final parade. And we've not really seen too much of him. Don't think MD's really seen too much of him. Is it starting to rain? Am I seeing that right, Maldy? I thought I seen like rain, like wee bits of rain there. I don't know if it was just the camera, but it looked to me like the rain was starting to fall there. But I mean, bye Maldy. That'll be why I can't really hear Maldy. Oh, and Maldy's just away again for double the measure, but I'll get him in at the end of the race. I don't want to ruin any of the action for yous as we see the train for P6 Buckley leading for Italia. Stefanko in this battle for P6. Stefanko getting right up close on the braking. And I don't think an overtaking move will really be on at this point through the tight and twisty technical third sector. But we're going to go back to the front and jump on board with BRL. Bruno Will, newly crowned champion, and he's adding another race victory to his tally as he takes the checkered flag here in the United States. Davison did give him a run for his money for so long, but the penalty will push him down to P2, and Jamham will inherit it, and Kevin will take the podium. Ham Jam up to P4, and Davison penalties really pushing him down the order here as everybody's starting to filter through, and it's pushed him right outside the points. Surely that can't be right. I don't remember seeing his name for that. Many penalties coming up on the bottom of the screen. He's getting pushed right down the order here, so we might need to see the official timings at the end. But it is Bruno Wilfie, Jamham and Kevin taking your podium places here. Ham Jam does get that recovery drive to P4 through penalties. Italia solid P5 after being 19th on the first lap, taking 25 lap hards to the end. Stefanko 6th place in the Red Bull for the medium, 17 laps as well. DJ Danny P7, don't think he can complain too much with that. Connor in 8th, Buckley being demoted to 9th after penalties, and Stubbsy rounding out your top 10 for Red Bull. And I'm going to get Maldy back in very quickly. Let me just get him in. Apologies for the black screen there. And you can see that is ABR Connor for driver of the day. So I've invited Maldy in, but it's we'll get Maldy in. Bruno will be receiving the World's Trophy here. Mercedes victorious once again as the pattern in real life continues in game, and Mercedes very jubilant in success once more. And it's Jamham that does take another solid result in P2, and it's Alpha Kevin, sorry, not FNT Kevin, Alpha Kevin in the Ferrari taking P3. So while I'll invite Maldy in, in fact I don't need to invite Maldy in, there he is there, I'll give you the official race rundown. As it is Bruno Will taking the race victory here. He started on pole, he does take the checkered flag once again here in STB. Jamham with a solid drive in P2 after starting 4th. Kevin really rocket-like start off the 5 lights and kept it together to take P3 and inherit that through penalties as well. Davison does just go down to P4, so that was just a wee timing glitch on the game's part there. So he does just go to P4. Ham Jam does get pushed into P5. Italia P6. Stefanko 7th. DJ Danny in P8. Connor 9th. And Buckley just rounding out the top end, the top 10 there and taking a singular point. Stubbsy P11, Ichijiro 12th, Gravity 13th, Matty and Shark 14th and 15th, Mercury 16th, and Afali is done by a lap. And your retirements were Janino, VZ, and KF Libero. Let me try and get Maldi in once again. And I'm going to try and get Maldi in once again. I want to let Maldi do the interviews because I don't really know. I mean, in the nicest way, I don't really know who we're going to get in, because I know some drivers can't. Some folk don't have understanding the language, so we're going to have to work out who we're going to bring in. So I'll let Maldi decide who's coming in for the interview if he is there. Maldi? Hello, Maldi, I can hear you. Davison got pushed to 4th on penalties. So it's Bruno Will, Jamham, and then Alpha Kevin. Yep. Who? His connection has been absolute guff. Oh, but I mean, I'll pass my well done to you. I was getting to the point where I was having to get ready to do the interview because I didn't really ken what was happening. He disconnected times near the end, so. But well done on your P2, James Jamham. We were trying to Davison had that one lap glitch thing, so we didn't really know. so we didn't really know when you were closing in, and so I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it might sound a bit ignorant to me asking, but like I was very absent-minded with what Maldi was asking you, so like, I'm assuming you knew you're just a matter of staying behind. Right, okay, no, that's fine. No, because aye, Maldi. Oh. Right, no, that's fine. But anyway, no worries. Just going to pass our well done and a congratulations to the top three. We've heard from Jamham and how his race went. It was short and sweet. If you've not got enough of your USA fix, be sure to tune in for Tier 2 tomorrow night at 8 o'clock GMT. For Tier 2 where Maldi, my co-commentator, will take. And if you're not quite fancying that, be sure to join us for Tier 1 in Mexico in a week's time, Monday the 8th of January, 7 o'clock GMT. We'll see you then.